After working with over 150 appointment setters, I have now looked back at my career and saw how lucky I was in certain environments when I got introduced to an absolute killer. I've had one that's worked directly for me, and I have placed these killers in my top performing fitness guys, and they've been able to rip it with being able to set those qualified appointments. And so this is what the series is going to be about, is reviewing the DM sets that resulted in closes that don't go below $1,500 cash collected. And we can see from the killers, because they're probably going to be mentioned, like I'm pretty sure that it's just one in these series that I'm recording this intro for, and his name is Chingun. Chingun, if you look at this, bro, thank you for making me so much money. But this is going to be exactly what Chingun did to be able to set, and we're going to go step by step, screenshot by screenshot, going through his exact DM framework. So let's get into it.
All right, so as you guys know, we are working with clients that have hundreds of thousands of followers. And so when these fitness guys get messages, a lot of them are gassing them up, a lot of love for them. But the whole point is that your conversations should look very, very similar. You are going to be going through the same framework and same type of flow of the conversation. And so I'm going to be sharing with you guys some serious sauce right now. I can't even imagine how much this would benefit me if someone were sending me a loom full of actual successful conversations that were set, because these are all screenshots of successful sets. So right now we are looking at an offer that we're working on, and in the first 7 days we have been closing a deal consistently every single day, getting at least 2 to 4 calls booked in, and then also the total amount of calls booked has been probably around 21 in 7 days. So that is 3 booked calls a day. So this conversation has just started. So he's the response to this, right, is like, keep going, respect what you're doing, love the content, appreciate your support, man. My DM was packed, sorry. By the way, are you also trying to take your fitness seriously? Haha, I can imagine you get a ton of messages. And then he just responds with, I'm just taking some time to build some genuine connections with my audience today. So he says, yeah, that's a wise choice. Keep doing what you're doing. Big ups. There's just examples, right, of like how somebody would text. You don't have to follow this exact type of style, but you really do want to come across just really casual, really just like you're texting. And then instead of trying to ask another question, he just responds with like, oh, how about that? He said, hell yeah, I am, bro. Trying to get 1% better every day. I may be looking for a new trainer soon in a few months. Just doing my due diligence, researching people. He says, I see. So you're on the journey to drop some weight. That's right. I see. So what would you say is holding you back the most right now to lose those 30 pounds? When I was first started, it was lack of time and guidance. So what he's doing right here, right, is he's just connecting, big ups, asking him a question right off the bat if he's taking his fitness seriously. He says that he is. And so then he just confirms on what it is that he's trying to do. You have to be able to listen or read and listen, because all of your questions are going to be based off of the responses from the client. So he says that he is, does he say that he's trying to drop weight? This is just going to be a good example of inferring. Our setters go through the profiles and go through everything, and so he guessed that his journey is going to be to drop some weight. It's not really good to assume all the time, but when you get really good and you feel comfortable, you can ask these questions, no problem. And so then right away he says, so what's holding you back from losing those 30 pounds that he said? When I first started, it was a lack of time and guidance. This prompt is perfect. You're asking them what is holding them back. And instead of giving them the floor of being able to answer however they want, because they might not answer the way that you want, you just prompt them with, when I first started, it was a lack of time and guidance. He said, you just listed my 2 biggest reasons. It's mainly due to a lack of time and guidance. That's mostly what people are going through. So he says, makes sense. You know what? I have a few no bullshit roadmaps just popped into my mind for a second, which you could follow to drop your 30 pounds way faster in a sustainable way. He said, good shit, I'd love to see what that entails. He says, faux show. If you're really taking your fitness life seriously, let's schedule a meeting rather than texting back and forth on here. We'll map out everything during the call and see if it makes sense to work together. He says, you down? He didn't respond, so he sends this GIF. He says, LOL. And then he said, sure, I'm down. I bet you grew 10 gray hairs waiting for my response. And then our client posted a picture of him on his laptop with a cigar. He loved that. Said, bro's enjoying a cigar, you're already winning. Said, love those kinds words, it's really gassing my day. Do you have a minute? Said, sure, bro, gave him the number. And then instead of doing that, because realistically, since you're the offer owner, you could have probably FaceTimed him. You don't have to go through this formal Calendly booking, but our setter is trying to book in a call properly. So he says, can you book your best time before I go offline? This is a really great way to actually make sure that they get and book a call. Let me know once you book the call. Boom, call booked. I'm glad my energy is gassing your day, bro. And this is perfect. This is a perfect set. He went in for the kill very early on, but he knew and was confident because of Mark giving him all of the right signs that he wanted to hop on a call. All right, so next review. Someone replied to the story saying, how much do you weigh? Said, I'm 175 pounds right away. So where are you from, bro? I'm just taking some time to build a genuine bond with my audience. Says where he's from, and then was talking about a different fitness influencer. He said, it wasn't me. He said a bunch of stuff about the fitness influencer, and then he just said, okay, because you need to remember that even though I'm telling you to be able, like, you really need to listen and pay attention to what they're saying, be mindful of what you're responding to. This is a really good example that if you got caught up with this and talking about this other guy, then it would just take away from the coaching. It would take away from what the journey you're actually trying to take him on. So he says, okay, responds, by the way, where are you based? Just out of curiosity. Even though he said somewhere here that he's in Rhode Island. Whatever. Said, that's sick. I've never been there. What do you do for work there? Again, perfect example that he was going to ask the what do you do for work, but he asked the where are you from question first to kind of dilute it. Just want to see how you're balancing your time with work and fitness. Gave his work, said that, are you enjoying it? Must be sick. Then the client sent a bunch of pictures, and then he sent a GIF going like, wow. Says, makes me want to change my career, LOL. What are your goals for the upcoming months, bro? Always, right? Acknowledging, gassing them up, and then right away asking the question of what their goals are fitness-wise. Then he didn't really respond with the right question, but this is a really, really good question to be able to go deeper on, so don't let it go. Said, can you elaborate? Are you trying to bulk or cut? Said, I'm trying to do the same. Gave his BMI, said it's not bad. So he said, you're mainly focusing on your back, because he probably is. But he said, LOL, no, building up the muscle just to keep the rest of him in shape. Said, I see. Is that already healed or does it still hurt? Gave a bunch of stuff, right? This is a perfect example. He said one line. He said like 7 words, and he got into a bunch of really personal stuff. So after he went through, said a bunch of personal stuff, I got my personal training, PT trainers focused on my top needs in gym, and he remembers his content. Okay. Yeah, he probably made our fitness business owner made a post about Planet Fitness, and he was still relating to it. And then this is when he starts to give a little bit more of a response. Honestly, your resilience is next level, gassing him up. Most people would have thrown in the towel, but you've been grinding for 3 years, even with slow progress. That says a lot about your character. You know, the YK. Let's hop on a call and figure out how to make all this hard work really pay off. You already are a fighter. Let's make sure you crush it. Def worth a chat. Said, no worries at all. Shoot my Calendly to you. Said, there you go, bud. Hype the chat. Let's get it. What's your name, man? Paul. Turn up. Perfect. So, another successful set. So, perfect. Another example. He just hops in, probably responding to someone that didn't get a response for a long time. Said, my DM was packed. So, you also trying to take your fitness more seriously? Said, yes, I want to. He asked, where are you from? Said, I'm in Delaware. And then he asked, the client asked, so how much do you ask to guide me on a workout plan and what to eat and what not to eat, etc.? Instead of responding to that, right, with like a big explanation, he just says, there's various options. But before we move into that, let me ask you a few questions to clarify your situation or to see if I can help you. He says, remember, I'm in South Africa, so it's going to be expensive for me. What is your cheapest plan? He said, thanks for your honesty. So basically, I just launched a new package, which is monthly. Even if you've already had this, it's just the frame and the perception. So, you know I'm not a believer who believes money is stopping from changing lives. Then he says, okay, how much is it? I said, yeah, no problem. It's $397 for the lowest package. Just tells him straight up. But this is just intuition, right? Usually you want to be able to keep the price to yourself so that you can be able to actually add the value and kind of test the vibe on the call. But this guy's literally saying that it's going to be expensive for him. So in order to save time, he just tells him the price. But then he says, yeah, but I'm a type of person that is really trying to become my client's friend, not only a fitness coach. I hear their life struggles, and yesterday my client called me and cried a lot. I talked with him nearly 3 hours, just gassing him up. I said, that's cool. So that's what sets me apart from 90% of online coaches. They'll just give you copy-paste diets, plans, and shit, but I'm just built different. He says, yeah, so I really want to change lives because when I was in high school, I got cheated on, and that lit the fire in me and got me to start lifting. You want to be able to create these stories to connect with your audience because they're going to be able to have this perception of you helping people, helping your clients, and then also a little in-look on what your story is. When you start sharing your story with people, they are going to be a lot more inclined to be a lot more personal with you and open up to you on the questions that you ask that are personal. So right away, he gets into the biggest issue is that I'm lazy, not motivated, and he wants to strike a deal that if he reaches a certain look that our client or our fitness coach will go visit him in South Africa. And then he gets into talking about where he's from, and then he's like, you know what, I really want to visit. I feel like a wildlife at me coming at the end of the year, so I might do it. And then he sends pictures of his beach house right here. He said, that's dope. He said, I'll tell you what, you come this way for at least 2 weeks. Yeah, whatever. He said, you're living my dream. Then he takes the time to drop the call booking for a second. He said, so can you assure me that you'll guide me through the trip? Haha. Like, you'll be my tour guide. And then he said, I definitely will. He said, perfect, bet. And then this is kind of wild, he's gay. So he's saying, just a heads up, warning, like if I get drunk, something might happen. He says, yo, is that a threatening message? Still just playing with him. But the deal is that only if you follow the guidance properly and willing to have me keep your ass accountable. He says, LOL, not threatening, just a friendly warning message. He says, say less, let's schedule a call. Say less in a motivational way because he didn't understand it. And then you down. He said, I'm at work. What is our time difference? Just sent him the calendar link. It said, book in your best time for here. Can you book now before I go offline? This is perfect. Whenever you send the calendar link, make sure that you ask them to book right away. Like say that you're going to sleep or you're about to hop into a big meeting and you don't want to miss the message. So can you just book now before I go offline? He said, done. His time. And then, is that a call to discuss where I am and where I need to go next? He said, yes. Let's make sure to sign the agreement. Where's the agreement? He didn't actually mean anything like that. And then he said, hype to chat soon. Turn up. Do I sign it now or tomorrow? Still misunderstanding. We'll go through everything during the call. It's perfect. Tomorrow, Zoom meeting. Cool. Just a personal question I want to ask. Are you straight, bi, or gay? He said, I'm straight. I said, okay, that's a pity for me. I'm just looking, nothing more, LOL. And then he straight up says, don't bring this topic up again, man. I really have zero interest. If you respect me, thank you. He said, that's why I just had to ask so I can let it go. I said, yeah, I have no offense to the gay flag. I always respect them as I respect myself. Perfect. Call booked. Another one. Bang. Okay, this guy, he commented the keyword that the fitness owner had in his bio. And right away he's getting, where are you based out of? You see how this is like the same thing every time. He's like, yo, where are you based out of? What do you do for work there? He said, I'm working at McDonald's. I love Big Mac. Sent a funny GIF. And then he said, so it seems like you're very committed to work one-on-one with me. I don't even know where he got the confidence to say that, but he said, yes, sir. I want to achieve my dream physique, and I saw one of your clients lean bulk. I've always been very skinny. This is the response to the offer owner's post on the story. He said, I want to look strong for once. You're in good hands, no worries. But you see how he's typing, no worries. Don't say for once, say for a lifetime. Just encouraging, gassing him up. So he said, so first, let me know your goal for the upcoming months, fitness-wise. The goal is to gain some progress, gain some weight, and I'm not expecting to get jacked. I just want to see some changes. I said, I see. Why do you think that's the best time to elevate your physique, bro? This is a perfect question. He's prompting him to basically tell him why now. Why now? So what would you say is holding you back? Again, this is just on repeat. When I first started, it was a lack of time and proper guidance. Right away. For me, for sure, it's proper guidance. You're getting them to admit that they need proper guidance. Most of the YouTube advices are BS. They're just creating content, sake of views and attention. Just imagine, bro, the hardest thing is you're working at McDonald's, but you try not to eat. Haha. Just playing with him, replying to him, being natural, while taking him through the conversation. Because if you notice, he's asked the qualifying questions so far. Where are you from? What do you do for work? What's your goal? What do you think? Why do you think the best time is right now to achieve that goal? What do you think is holding you back right now from hitting that goal? And then he said, the DM setter said, so how much money are you able to invest into your health right now? He said, I'm able to invest a lot. Sounds like you're really committed. Huge respect. So let's make it short. Just cut straight to the chase. If you're really taking your fitness seriously, we'll map out everything, make sure you are dialed. Yes, sir. To you down. Sent the one-on-one coaching. Can you book now before I go offline? Oh, well. Yes. Booked. Let's go. Let's go.
That was just one of the many videos that I have where I'm reviewing DM sets from our appointment setters and from our fitness coaches that are consistently closing anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. So go ahead and make sure that you watch all the other videos, and make sure to link them all in the description and at the end of this video. So get to it. Watch everything.